Sports has inspired them, and what sports means to them, and what's the driving factor in their lives. So, kind of want to open up this panel by getting to know our panelists. So we'll start with you, Sarah.
Hello, my name is Sarah Robinson. I'm 16 years old, and I'm with the Brotherhood Crusade. I attend Washington Preparatory High School, and I'm a junior.
Okay, hi, I'm Sophey Carbajal. I'm here with the YMCA Youth Institute of Greater Long Beach. I attend Long Beach Poly High, and I'm currently a senior.
I'm SaraJoy Salib. I'm currently on the Occidental dive team, Occidental College dive team, and also the water polo team, and I'm a freshman.
Hi, my name is Kendall Stier. I'm mainly known as a shot putter, and I'm a para-athlete at high school, and I won nationals, and now I'm here.
All right.
I'm Jake Olson. I'm 20. I'm a junior. I'm a log stamper for the University of Southern California.
All right. Jake and I had a little beef backstage. Because he played football, I kind of backed down. So, we were in the back talking and, just talking about, sports and the opportunity that, sports play in all of our lives. So, kind of the first question is, talk about, let's start with you, Sophie. Let's talk about, sports and the role it plays in your life and your upbringing and how it's affected you.
All right, so I've actually been pretty active since I was little. I used to dance when I was in elementary school, and then I joined a bunch of sports when I was in middle school. So I was in like basketball, track, cross country, volleyball, and then I kind of stopped during my high school career, but only because I wanted to focus more on my school. I have always been like a very fidgety person. Like I always had to move some way or somehow or do something. So I decided to channel that into my sports, to do something a little more healthy. And, I fell in love with it. I loved being active. I took a 1-year break from doing anything, like all sports, aside from staying fit. And I hated it. I just need to stay, moving and doing all these things. And I was kind of bullied when I was younger, so I just felt like through sports I was able to show them that, I don't care. Even if you say these things, I do certain things, and you might not do it, you might not see it, but I'm stronger than what you think.
Absolutely. Kendall?
Sports have meant a lot to me, and it all started with my sister, actually. I have a twin sister, and we've always been very, very, very competitive, and we've always pushed our boundaries. And just sports have been a lot to me, and they've shaped like how I think myself and like how other people think of me. And it's just really, it's fun because for a moment in our lives, we get to put all our other problems aside, and we just get to play together, and we get to focus on like just being in the moment and having fun and being united and not having to worry about if other people will accept you or if you mess up, or we're all a community in that sense.
Absolutely, absolutely, that's great. And then, just continuing on, sports and just talking about, team, because you play a sport, you are on the team. SaraJoy, talk about what team means, because, you're a swimmer, and, I thought that it was such a personal thing, but you enlightened me backstage about, the importance of, swimming in your life and being on the team. So can you speak to that?
So right now I'm on the dive team at Oxy, and for the past 5 years, my college hasn't really had a dive team at all. And so other than myself, I have one freshman that just joined the team this year. And I haven't had too much experience with platform diving and 3-meter diving until this year. And she actually hasn't had any at all. And I think part of being on an individual sport really gives a person an opportunity to to kind of connect with someone on like a different level. So like I play water polo as well, and that is a team sport, and you really have to push your team. But when you're on a sport that's individual, you really have to look past yourself and be able to push someone and put your best interests aside and really put your energy into supporting that other person. So the diver that is on my team has never worked on 3-meter. And so when we're at practice, there are times where I, for like 5 minutes, don't focus on myself, and I just focus on making sure that she's more comfortable with trying something new and being able to express like her energy in a way other than she's used to. So it definitely, it's counter to what a lot of people think. People think that swimming and diving is a very individual sport, and I think that without like having my team there to support me when I flop, like literally on Monday I flopped 3 times in a row, and the coach literally was like, okay, let's move on to another dive. Like, this is just not working for you. And having her there to support me and tell me, SaraJoy, like, you got it. I know you flopped on this dive 3 times in a row, but you can do it. Like, our next meet is coming up. And just having her there to support me has made absolutely like a world difference. I've been able to improve so much faster because I have her support.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jake, can you extend on that as we were talking backstage about how, team and sports have played a vital role in your life?
Yeah, sports has obviously been a big part of my life. I faced cancer my entire life, and at the age of 12, ended up going blind. And one of the things I really wanted to continue to do was play sports and not lose that aspect of my life, because it was such a huge aspect of my life. Before going blind, I was one of the boys that, played every sport imaginable. And then going blind, I wanted to continue to play sports. And the two that I really loved and wanted to continue to focus on was golf and football. So with golf, obviously, it was a team sport in high school, and I played all throughout high school, but it's more of an individual sport, really. But my dad is my caddy out there, and he lines me up. So that was really, really fun to build that almost a 2-person team, and trusting in him and us working together to be able to play golf and learn how to golf blind, and starting off not even making contact, and then all of a sudden working through the years and being able to shoot in the the low 80s and high 70s, and so that so I mean that was a team between my dad and I that was really cool. But with respect to football, football is, I think, one of the ultimate team sports. There's a lot of, obviously, 11 on the field at one time, but it takes everyone, and really, one person misses an assignment. Obviously, I'm sure in other sports as well, but it ruins the entire play. So there's a lot of accountability and a lot of responsibility in football, and that was one thing I really loved when I picked up long snapping going into my junior year of high school. Was just the ability to be out there and to present to my team my talent, and for them to respect me for being out there as just a normal player out there, someone who can go out there and do their job, but also just seeing me as a normal player out there and expecting me to do my job. And that was really cool. And then working with my holder, of lining me up and giving that little extra detail and that little extra work to make it possible for me to be out there snapping. It was just cool because in those moments, I really felt that there was really no difference between me or any other player out there. I was expected to do my job. I had people supporting me and giving me every ability to do my job, and then it was up to me to do my job. And I think that in a team setting is a really cool aspect, and just it gives you a sense of purpose, and you belong there, and you have a job to do.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing. And then also, Sarah, sports for you was, it was kind of like a saving grace, and being on a team was a saving grace for you. Talk about, where you were and how being on the team helped you transition into, using the team, and then ultimately becoming the leader and having people adjust to knowing what it means to be on a team.
Well, first, 9th grade year, I wasn't really focused on sports because my head was kind of all over the place. But when I was in 10th grade, I had a video production teacher that really inspired me to play sports, because every day he'll walk up to me and ask me, come join the track team, come join the track team. It wasn't a day where I didn't get asked. So after I joined the basketball team, because I wanted to start off with something first. So I went to basketball, then track. But when I started basketball, it kind of pushed me to keep my grades up, because at first, my grades wasn't so good in 9th grade year. But once I know I have something to work for and work towards, basketball really helped me a long way because I went from like a 2 point something to 3.8. So it helped me a lot. And then basically after basketball, it's just like I was all for sports. I took football stats, so everything. My brothers play sports, so it's like it wasn't never just in the house doing nothing. It was either outside running around always. So once I got to work with the team and try to help them, help me and everything, like it just helped me out a lot. I wouldn't be the same person I was right now if I didn't play sports.
I agree. And then you were also talking about now how, you know, the new girls come in. Now, you know, it's like you're a vet, and now you all are, you know, the veterans on your team as like juniors and seniors. You know, talk about a little bit about, you know, how you're helping them transition.
Well, because where I come from, is a lot of girls don't like to take a lot of nothing. So, so when you gotta try to tell them like, oh, you can't shoot it that way because you're not gonna make it, or you can't run that way because you're gonna run into a different lane and you're gonna get disqualified. It's like, and then they try to give you an attitude. So it's like you gotta try to help them know how to take constructive criticism, and you just gotta know how to change a little bit so you could work how they work, just until they could see like, oh, it don't always go your way. It gotta go. It don't have to go, but it would be better if it went this way. Just being able to understand them, because maybe it was their first time actually having people that was always there for them, uplifting them every time it was a mistake. So just being able to understand where they coming from before you try to put so much pressure on them.
Absolutely. And, you know, I want to talk about a little bit about access, you know, and Kendall, you were saying, you know, in the back, like, you know, how important it is, you know, that, you know, because sports allows you access to, you know who you are. So I'd love for you to speak about that, and also speak about your cause that, you know, kind of gave you the access to pursue what you're doing now.
Access is beyond important. It's there's no words that can describe it, and I think it's a big organization called Angel City Games is really important. One, because it's the only sanctioned place that allows para-athletes and is for para-athletes to participate in all different kinds of sports, and it's the only one in California. And it's really important for me because I get to do my sport, and people see me as a true athlete, and the concept of a para-athlete is nothing that's unfamiliar. And the cool thing about Angel City Games is that there's people that know what they're doing. There's coaches, there's actual events, and not only do you get to do the sport that you want to participate in, I'm a shot putter, and I also do some discus and javelin, but let's say if I wanted to do volleyball or maybe swimming, and I wanted to check out a clinic of some sort, they're like, oh yeah, here's the day you can do that, and yeah, we'll have professional athletes or professional coaches tell you the rules and regulations, and yeah, we hope you have a fun time. And that to me is really important, because I don't get that on a day-to-day basis. Even I have the honor to live in a day and age where I can now participate in high school sports. And being a high school athlete, first of all, it truly is an honor to be in a high school sport, but I don't think that there's a lot of awareness out, and I think I just want to give the awareness out so that other disabled student athletes can participate in sports and have that access and be able to participate in that sport that they've always wanted to be in, and that's really important to me.
Okay.
By the way, that's spoken from a state champion and All-American shot putter, so she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
She can back it up, right?
Yeah, because Angel City Games was a sanctioned event, that helped me gain my title for being All-American, so I'm really...
Absolutely. And, just continuing on, access, we're all here because of LA84 Foundation and the great work that they do in the community. And it's really about, giving the right resources to the people who have the tools and that are there. Sophie, I wanted you to touch upon, how LA84 has really impacted, your sports trajectory and what it's done to kind of open up doors to the people who don't necessarily have the access.
Yeah, okay, so like I said before, I'm part of this program called the Youth Institute, and what it does is it gives equal opportunities to, say, we use the term at-risk youth. So it's people that are from a lower socioeconomic status. They don't have money for certain things. So we just recently, we were lucky enough to get a grant from the LA84 Foundation that would give us the opportunity to expose the kids within the Youth Institute to various different types of activities or sports, so to say. So we've been able to go surfing, we've been able to do mountain biking, archery, so, we otherwise would not have been able to be exposed to. I know the only time that I've seen archery was in the Hunger Games, and I was
Me too.
I'm not gonna be like that. I was
too.
I'm never gonna touch one of those. But no, then I find out that we're gonna go do archery, and I was like, I'm gonna be Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
It was really cool to be able to see all the kids, going out there, having their form and everything. And, when someone would get a bullseye, they'd see their face light up. We went surfing, and whenever they would catch their first wave, it was just, incredible to see, their reaction. And,
Absolutely.
you can see in that moment how much they deeply appreciated what they were given.
That's right.
And, you can ask any one of the kids, just if they weren't to have gotten this grant, would they have ever gone surfing or snowboarding or anything? And 99.9% of the time, it would have been no.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the means, we don't have, that extra money on the side just to, go out and have fun.
Yeah.
And with this grant, we've been exposed to so much, and it's given some of the kids even a new passion or hobby or something, and it's great to see them expanding our horizons.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And then also, SaraJoy, I gotta say it fast. LA84, you didn't swim until really you were saying that LA84 supplied a program. Will you speak to that?
Yeah. So through LA City is where I learned to swim. LA84 gave a certain number of grants to allow people that didn't necessarily have the income to apply for the swim program. And so with the scholarships, that's how I actually learned. I went through the swimming programs, and then I ended up joining the teams, and they had a certain deal where if you paid for one of the teams, they would give you a certain amount off for the next teams. And so that was actually what gave me the opportunity to become an athlete. I started as a very chubby little kid, but through the programs, I was able to develop the mentality for sports and really flourish in the pool. And had they not sponsored the program, I probably wouldn't be here in this moment.
It's amazing. Shout out to LA84, that's why we all here. We're getting kind of short on time, but I do want to continue to talk about, a little bit about access. And Jake, if you would, just, talk to us about access and being on the team and what that access did for you, and also what it does for your teammates. How does that affect the people around you, as they inspire you and you inspire them?
It's a really cool relationship. One of the things I really learned at a young age, that when you're facing adversity, or when you might be slated with a slight disadvantage to the person that's sitting next to you, that's trying to compete for the same thing, it might require you to take the extra steps. It might require you to work a little harder, to find a little different way and be creative. But it doesn't mean it's impossible, and it doesn't mean that should stop you from achieving your goal. And so when learning how to long snap and being on my team, again, you know, my holder's required to line me up straight. You know, I could be the best long snapper in the world, but yes, if he doesn't aim me up straight, it's not going to end up well. So there is definitely the relationship there of him understanding the importance of his role and lining me up, and then once I'm lined up, then it's just a normal snapper to holder relationship of me just doing my job and getting the ball back there. But I think that's really an important lesson that I've learned and that my teammates have learned too, that's just, okay, here's a guy that it's not as straightforward as just him running up to the ball, seeing the ball and lining up his feet and snapping it back there. You know, there's a little extra work that needs to be done. There's a little bit of creativeness, and you know, that's why, you know, going up to the drills, trying to find me in a crowd of a bunch of football players, finding me, guiding me up there, lining up my hips. You know, I remember my junior year of high school when we first started, there wasn't a voice cadence necessarily, so my holder would actually clap to kind of give me the sound, you know, as I was still kind of learning, and then my left guard would look through his legs, and then the holder would give him the thumbs up, and he would tap me on my left thigh, and you know, then I'd basically, whenever I was ready, I could snap it, and I knew it was ready. So I mean, that was a little more intricate, and we've simplified it since then, but it just was the ability for them to realize, here's a kid who can completely snap, can deliver, can provide for a team, is advantageous to be out there. It's going to take a little extra work from us, but we're totally willing to do it. And we see that Jake's willing to do it. We see Jake's, you know, pushing forward, and he's going through his obstacles. So these are nothing compared to, you know, to what he's going through. So we'll do it too. And I think that's been a really cool, just situation to see unfold over my time of long snapping, and just seeing the guys come around and realize it's not that big of a deal. You know, it's something that they just have to do, and it really, I can see it impacts them and it impacts me, because again, you know, I feel like I'm belong out there, and I you know, I consider myself an athlete. I consider myself to belong out there, and for that to be a mutually feeling is something that's really special.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. You know, we have one final question. We have 5 minutes left. So I'm going to ask you all to answer the next question, and it's really about, you know, the Olympics, the Paralympics coming in 2028 here in the great city of Los Angeles. And by 2028, I will be old and have gray hairs, so I won't have an opportunity to compete. But you all will be of age and competing and participating. What would you like to see now in this city, what you know and what you're going through? What would you like to see for, you know, all of us adults who are kind of in the business in the city? What would you like to see for the youth change so we're prepared for 2028?
Well, I would say more safer places so youth could go and actually do what they want to do. So, and when you go there, you could talk about how the Olympics is coming to LA, and it will probably most likely inspire them, like, oh, I want to be in the Olympics in LA. I got to represent because I'm from LA, so I want to be there. So, like, just, and make sure it's affordable, because where I'm from, South LA, a lot of kids can't do what they want to do because their parents can't afford it or they can't afford it. So just making sure it's for us.
Absolutely. So
I would say about the same thing, but also like diversity and acceptance. Mm-hmm. You know, we see a lot of people, you know, they kind of single people out, or it's just like, oh, it's that kind of person, or oh, he's just a track star. But you know, the person, he's more than a track star. He's a person with feelings and connections and all that. And you know, I'd rather see people, you know, talk to different people and from different cultural backgrounds or economic backgrounds or anything, and just, you know, connect and talk, and you know, not just go by the title so much as the personality.
got it.
Definitely, I definitely agree with both Sophie and Sarah. I think definitely because we have the home advantage, it will be in Los Angeles. I think we need to promote and make sure that our youth know what's coming for us, and know that like they have the athletics are accessible to us, and just giving them an opportunity to find where it is they fit and find their spot, and making athletics more accessible to them in general, so that when the games come here, they're ready.
Absolutely.
That's good points. Those are all good points. I definitely agree with all these statements. And then one thing I would just like to add is a lot of times when you see in the news, you see like, oh, the Olympics are coming. And some articles have achieved this already. But what I would like to see is just these simple 3 words added. The Olympics and the Paralympics are coming to UCL. Yeah. So, and yeah, that's something that doesn't cost anything. It's just 3 more words.
Jay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what the beautiful speaker said before us, I mean, I think that's something really powerful, just changing the way, you know, people view disabled athletes. And I think that, you know, I got the best dang shot putter here in the state next to me, and, you know, I mean, I try to go out there and, you know, be on the football field and compete in that way, and on the golf course and in other, you know, other sports. And I know there's a lot of other people out there that are competing at pretty high levels, you know, despite having a disability. And I think that's something that, as we move forward in LA and, you know, over the next 11 years, that we can really start accepting more and really start seeing these athletes as what they are, and that's athletes. And I think that's something that's going to be really cool to see over the next decade.
Thank you. And I would say for me, just to wrap it all up, is just everything that you've said and everything that, you know, being an LA native as well, is we want to see the access. We want to see the equality. You know, we want to see that shared voice. We believe that, and we know that, you know, athletics is the foundation and has a foundation in the structures and the rules for how you build a community and how you build an active community. And so, you know, for me, I would love to see, you know, you all in the Olympics participating, you know, advertising, marketing, all your dreams, you know, coming true. And for you all out there, we'd love to see you guys really dive into the city and make LA an example of all the things that, you know, these young women and men have shared with us to make this place a better place. And to LA 84, for all of us to support LA 84, because they're fighting the good fight. And that's my time. That's our time. We really appreciate it. I was on time.
Thank you.